What about the idea of a tip? I realize that not all endeavors can operate at zero. Nowadays, you can create content, things like music or writing or video production, for almost nothing. Now, there may be some sort of an investment up front, but the likelihood is that if you love what you do, you would invest in that anyways. You would buy the camera, you would, pay for whatever it is because you enjoy, pay for the recording equipment maybe, because you enjoy what you do. And that seems to be a good place out of which to work. In other words, something like, I'm doing this. I am growing, I don't know what, green beans, because I love to grow green beans. I am producing this podcast because I feel a need to, in my soul, talk about these subjects and meet with these guests. I would do it anyways. It's a part of me, so therefore I would invest in these things anyways. But then after that, after the initial investment, there is some sort of a cost, and the cost may be very low. It will at least be less than what someone would charge for a particular thing. And I think I'm beating around the bush, so maybe I'll get to it. I've been thinking about things like things that are not like artistic so much, but that are creative and provide a place in the world. And I have this realization that there are certain things that you can't just offer for free, or at least it may appear that you cannot. Let's say, for example, that I want to grow, I'm not going to say green beans again because I don't care for green beans that much. Let's say watermelons. I want to grow watermelons, and I love growing watermelons. Well, I wonder about the idea, going back to thinking about the patron system, I wonder about the idea of offering what you offer at cost. So, for example, I look at my watermelons and everything that I've taken to invest into selling these watermelons. And first of all, I don't go hog wild. I don't put in so many that I'm expecting all my livelihood to come from it. I'm doing it because I love it. And I look at all my costs, and I put in this big watermelon patch because I want to. And then maybe I look at it and I say to myself, you know what, it looks like it cost me X amount per watermelon, or per pound, whatever it happens to be. And I place a little ad, probably a free ad, because there's ways to do that now. But if I have to spend a little bit for an ad, maybe I include that in my costs. So that what I'm shooting for is that I want to know where my zero place is. Zero is the magic number. I want to know, so when someone comes to me for a watermelon, I want to know how much is my 0 point? How much is the break-even point? So somebody calls me about my little ad, and they say, hey, I'd like a watermelon. And I say, great. And look, I operate a little bit differently than other people. It cost me 20 cents a pound to grow these watermelons. But it did take me some time and effort, but I loved it. And I would love to just see you enjoy my watermelon that I grew with love. But, and so first of all, I ask you, can you reimburse me my 20 cents per pound? So the base price is 20 cents a pound, which is my cost. Now, there may be some people who can't afford it, and I just want to give them a watermelon. Fine, but I do that knowing that it's a gift and that I can afford to give it. Otherwise, I explain to people, can you reimburse me this 20 cents a pound? And then I leave it open for a tip. If you can reimburse me this 20 cents a pound, that would be so awesome. And if you can do something more than that, I do have expenses. I do have a family to support. I do have these things to do. And this did take me time, and it would be an incredible blessing if you could give me something above that. And the likelihood is that most people will contribute something above. And there's also another strange likelihood that there will be several or a group within that who would give quite a bit more than what your cost is. It also opens up the place for discussion, because they're inevitably going to ask, well, how much do you think I should go? And then you just say, if you can cover that 20 cents a pound, and then just anything that you would like to give. But then you can also mention at that, because it's a conversation, you can say, well, here are the things that I need. I'm trying to give these watermelons away as close to free as I can, but I also need a generator for my whatever, or I need dirt to be able to grow these watermelons. I need topsoil. I need these things, right now in my life. And I wouldn't be surprised if there will be people who have items in their world that they are not using, but which you need. So that one person may come and get several watermelons, and in exchange he may give you something worth far more than what those watermelons are, but that to him is not worth hardly anything. That he may have topsoil that you need, or he may have manure that you need to grow your watermelons, or he may have you may say, well, I need a place to live. And he says, well, I have this old camper you can have that's been sitting out in my yard forever. So that we're not so much anymore looking at the dollar amount as we are at what people need and want. Somebody wants a watermelon. Somebody needs the love that you put into that watermelon. And maybe you need something that they have, which they can now give you for free. So you gave them something as close to free as you could get. You couldn't do it for free. You had a cost, and you had to try to at least get that cost with most people who came to get your watermelon. But you tried to give it to the person for as close to free as possible, because it is in excess of your love. It is an overpouring of the thing that you love. You love to grow watermelons. And then they are able to give in exchange, instead of some dollar amount, which you then have to figure out how to make that dollar amount work for everything that you need to do. But instead, now they are able to give you something out of love. The tip. I give you 20 cents a pound because that's the cost of this thing. And I give you another 10 cents, another 20 cents a pound because I love you. I can see that you're a human being like me who has needs, and I want to make your road easier. I am not forced to give this extra amount, but I choose to give it of my own free will and choice because I love you.